Hi, this is Shell of Shell's Creations, and today we're going to talk about making the centers of the silky flowers look more realistic. Today I'm going to be working with the CU Silkies version 2, but this would apply to any sort of flower really. In particular these, because of the way that the petals tend to curl up around what would be in the center, it's kind of an important one, and especially with something like these. This one is the Flower Center Pearl Pips. Each of these kind of have a pearlized texture to the tips of them. And so here are some things that you can do to make them look a little bit more realistic when you put them in. To begin with, they need a shadow. And I go ahead and do the shadow with an outer glow. Let me look at the details on that. I have an outer glow set to linear burn, a size of 38, and an opacity of about 30% on that one. But I play with those independent on each flower depending on what's going on. The second thing that's important on that is this just soft edged brush dark dot that kind of gives it a center to the back of it right there where it's coming out. But the other thing that I change is based on the principle of reflected light. What really happens, I guess, in the quote real world, if you were to take a picture of a flower like this that was turquoise with a white center, and then just sample the edges of that white center, even though your eyes see it as white, the edges are slightly turquoise from the light that bounces off the flower and hits that white there. And so we can replicate that and help it look more realistic. The easiest way to do that is with an inner glow. I'm going to bring up this layer style so that you can see the inner glow here. The blending mode on inner glow that I like to choose is color. The opacity depends, and I'll show you a couple different options, but let's start with this one at about 57%. And the size for something as small as this button pip, the size I have it resized, which is about 1 inch across, I've got it set at 13 pixels. And you can see, let me see if I zoom in just a little bit closer if you can see it a little bit. Yeah, you can see that it's just kind of a little bit around the edges, what would look like the light just bouncing onto that. Okay, and that inner glow blending mode is what makes that look realistic in that place. Now let me zoom back out. Let's take those two parts and move them over here on this red flower. I'm just going to go ahead and drag them, well, on the coral flower over here. Now the coral color is kind of super saturated more than some of these others, and so you might want to make some adjustments to that. And the first thing that we need to do is go ahead and change the color on it. So let's go ahead and click on that inner glow and bring it back up. From turquoise, we just want something I kind of pick something that's saturated but in the shadows of this so that I know that it's a dark colored reflection. And now that's still super light, and anything that's saturated would bounce a lot of color on there. So I'm going to go ahead and up the percent on the color on that one until it gets to about, it looks like I want about 76% or something like that on that one. So a color that's more saturated, you're going to want to go higher on your opacity on that one. And now let's go ahead and move it down here to one of these that's not, like this aqua one right down here. You'll notice that the first time when you first move it and it's got a different color on it, it totally looks fake. That's a dead giveaway right there. Let's go ahead and tweak the inner glow on this one. Again, let's change the color to a darker mint green, but so much of it there again doesn't quite look very realistic. So let's lower the opacity on this one. Yeah, somewhere around 34, 35. Is probably something more like what we're looking for on that one. So remember that reflected light, especially in this situation, can help the centers like these pearl pips, flower centers, pearl pips, look more realistic inside of the silky flowers. If you have any questions, you can reach me at shells.creations1@gmail.com. We talk about tips like these in my designer club. For details, see the link below. See you next time.